In this video, we're going to be running through how to do a more basic cutback. So kind of the starting points of a cutback. Now, a good idea before practicing implementing a cutback is to try doing some carve turns first, just to get used to going out into the open face of the wave and practicing opening up your shoulders and looking back to the power source or back to where the energy of the wave is. So once you have practiced a couple of kind of basic carves in that fuller to higher tide, that nice slow full wave, then starting to do your cutbacks is the next step. Now, after doing cutbacks, we then also have doing roundhouse turns. But in this video, we're just doing a demonstration of a very basic cutback, the starting points to feeling comfortable in doing this rotation. So let's start to go through this. Now, depending on the type of wave you are on, will actually determine where you do sort of your bottom hand turn to set yourself up. Now, some waves, if you're in a really full wave, you're going to be doing it more in that mid to high line. If you are in something slightly hollower, then you may do it in that little bit lower. Then you can really push off kind of the base of the wave. But in this video, I am at a wave pool, so I do have a bit of a hollow section here, but then I know that the wave is going to really get fatter here. So I set myself up in here to do my bottom hand turn so that I can really get to this fatter, more open part of the wave. Now, a key note for doing a cutback. Cutbacks are done in the open part of the wave. They are not done close to the pocket of the wave. So you do need to get out to this shoulder, this open part of the wave, to be able to do your full rotation. All right, so that's one thing to remember. We never do cutbacks close to the power source. It is something that is always done out in the open part or the shoulder of the wave. And it's normally done in weaker surf to be able to come back to the power source, back to where the energy of the wave is. So let's run through this video. So I set myself up for my bottom hand turn. I'm doing my scoop, compressing my knees so that I can really extend and shoot my board out to where I want to be going. I am looking at where I want to be doing my cutback, and I'm looking up into this top section here because we always do our cutbacks starting at the top of the wave. We never do our cutbacks starting in this midline, which is a super common mistake. We always want to make sure that we're doing our cutbacks starting in this higher line, top part of the wave. So I do my scoop and then I de-weight and extend my body up into that open part of the wave. And what you'll notice here is I'll start to really open up this front arm, and this back arm will start to reach around, and I'll really compress and hold this rotation. So just here, we can see that front arm is really encouraging my heel side rail, bringing my board around to point back to where I want to be going. And that allows for this back arm to reach around. So it's called opening up your shoulders right here. And you can see with my back foot, I'm really anchoring it onto the fin. So I'm encouraging those fins to lock into the wave, to drive and open up my shoulders. Just here, you see really opening up those shoulders, reaching all the way around. And then once I've noticed that I'm getting close to this area here, I want to start to get back onto my toe side rail. Now again, this is just a basic cutback, just getting used to kind of coming back to that power source. So what I want to now be doing is keeping that back arm low, because I now need to shift my fins. My front arm is going to start to point back to where I want to go. I'm keeping my weight nice and centered over my front foot, and I just allow that board to quite gently reconnect with the power source. And you can see just here, my board is on that angle. All right. And that's allowing the pressure of this wave to then push my board back to where I want to go. Now we can see my weight is nice and centered over my front foot. I'm looking at where I want to go. Super important component. We want to be looking at where we're going. My front arm is forwards. and I'm re-engaging my toe side rail, and I go straight into speed generating. So I reach that back arm forwards, and I'm able to pump and then go straight back into speed generating, and potential, or even start to do another turn. So that is how we do the basics of a cutback. Just getting used to getting close to the power source, getting used to hitting that foam ball and receiving the turbulence of the wave, and understanding how that feels underneath our surfboard will really help you guys get more control, more consistency in those cutbacks. Remember, we cut back to the power source to stay with the energy of the wave, which is normally performed in a fuller faced wave. So make sure you're in the right conditions to practice your cutback, and make sure you really hold those rotations, open up your shoulders, and get used to doing this maneuver, because it is really the starting points to doing turns.